Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Hopefully everyone can hear me alright. Let me actually just go into my settings, turn off that weird light. Can you tell me in the chat if you can hear me, please? And then we will get started. I know sometimes it's a little delayed. Hello everyone, it's nice to see you here. Get my mic a little fixed. Alright, this looks good. Finally not stuck at work. Call when you're live. Cool. Everyone hear me alright? Let's put that in the chat. Audio good. Thank you very much. I do have some background music in the video now, so if that gets too distracting, too loud, just let me know, because I can't hear my own stream. But with that out of the way, I kind of just want to start it. Usually we start with Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that. We've really just been in the same range. I can go over it. We're going to go over it. But really I just want to maybe just touch on the U.S. job market, job report. I know some of you aren't in the U.S., so you might not really look into it that much. I know some of you might just blow it off completely as useless news, or just might not understand it all. Just want to go over that because I am, that is a little, I know a little bit about that type of stuff, so I think I could just maybe add something different to these types of streams. So, job report came out today, and the U.S. added roughly 5,000 jobs in July, which is a significant amount. And just looking at this chart, we can just see this is total non-farm employees. We don't really count agriculture employees in these statistics for a number of different reasons, but here we are, and we can see that we are roughly back where we were before COVID in 2020, so that is a pretty good sign. Apparently, according to this economist, we're expecting job growth of only 250,000 roughly. We had 500,000, so this seems to be a good indicator of the labor market isn't slowing down yet. The GDP is, but it hasn't been affecting people getting jobs just yet. In the future, right, as the GDP declines, we expect job market and labor market to contract slightly, but this is to be expected, honestly. As inflation, as we are still in the phase of extremely high inflation, right? GDP is contracting, interest rates are going up, but inflation is still drastically increasing and still very high. So we do expect that the job market to still do well, despite what they'll say in the articles of all this nonsense. That we were not in a recession because the job market hasn't slowed down yet. While inflation is still extremely high, we expect the labor market to still do well, simply because one company's profits aren't getting hit too hard just yet. So they're still going to be looking to employ people, and also just things cost more, so more people are going to have to find jobs just to have to live. So if someone was living off of someone else or something along those lines, or had a side job that was paying enough, it's no longer paying enough, so you have to now go get a job, and now they count that as in that labor market. So nothing too unexpected, but just want to touch on that. It's to be expected, more or less. Wasn't expecting a really terrible report, honestly. So, but it seems to be doing well, so it's better than not. It's better than people not getting jobs. All right, so let's just go over Bitcoin, then we can go over Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Also, there is there's a little joke in my thumbnail. Little wordplay. So if anyone can catch that, by the end of my stream, then I'll make you a moderator on my channel. How does that sound? If you want that, I guess. I don't know if anybody even wants that, but that's the only thing I can think of. I don't want to, yeah. So, if anyone can figure that out by the end of the stream, just put it in the chat. I'll give you some power. How does that sound? Alright, well anyway, coming back to the Bitcoin chart. So what happened overnight, since yesterday's stream? Let's say not even from overnight, this is yesterday's stream. Yesterday's stream we were coming into, I believe we were actually in this exact candle. We're just looking at the 15-minute time frame, just want to close in a little bit, close in on price action a bit more than just looking at the higher term time frames. So, just going over what we said yesterday, we came into this fair value gap. We're looking for this larger fair value gap and this larger fib level to get hit. So I took a short based off of this, came down, came over here, and we were in here yesterday, and I was like, well, we might get a little bounce, we might just continue to the downside, but nothing's looking like we're just going to blast off to the upside, especially nothing like breaking out of this range. Nothing indicates that just yet. So we broke down. We're in a downtrend. I did take some profits yesterday. Coming into this just wasn't moving at all, so I just took some profit. Took 50% of the position out. I just put stop loss at even and just went to bed. So overnight we just found some support. There's nothing really, quite honestly, notable about this area as support. I mean, I guess you can argue, we could pull off Fibonacci levels from the swing high to swing low. Nothing was hit exactly. We can take our volume profile as well. We broke out of the value area low of this larger range. Didn't even fill low volume node or anything along those lines. So, to be quite honest, if you just want to analyze why we bounced here, I don't have a really good reason for you, to be quite honest. But we projected off the value area low, and then we got back above the value area low. So, you could just see that and go, okay, now we're back into this range. Let's test the point of control. And after we test the point of control, let's see if we can now get back to test the value area high. So that's basically how you can look at it. You don't have to have a reason why the market bounces every single time. I honestly don't have a good reason for you why the market bounced here, but we can just take that volume profile and go, okay, well, we're back above the value area low, right? We broke through it, so am I just going to sit here and say there wasn't a good reason for the market to bounce there, therefore I think it's going to go to the downside still? No, you take that and say, okay, well, what's the next target? The point of control, and then we blasted the point of control. So we could just take, now just coming back down, just take a little look at lower term time frames. So I think they might tell you a better story right now than higher term time frames. Coming down to the 15-minute, I had this level marked out here. This was a swing failure pattern that played out. Actually, come down to the 30-minute time frame just to see this swing failure pattern. I'll get rid of this volume profile for now. We had the swing failure pattern the other day, right? We wicked above, closed below, then came to fill this wick a little bit, and then continued downside, and broke the low, right? As we were expecting, we take some profit at 618, take some profit at the range lows, and then look for it to break the low. This seems to be now a resistance level, right? We came back and just retested this previous wick high, so we sort of have like a quadruple top, more or less. You can argue that it looks like a distribution pattern, but it's on such small time frames that there's not really much that doesn't hold that much weight. So right now we just seem to be arranging. We can take our fib levels. I would take it from here now to here. Since we did set a new low, we want to just now include the swing high. Even though this is a swing failure pattern, and usually if we are enclosed, alright, so let me just actually backtrack. I'll try to explain this thoroughly, how I look at it. So how I would take this, and how I have taken in the past, I'm just going to clean up the chart a little bit, is The other day when we had this swing failure pattern, and we continue to the downside, we are still enclosed within this range high. We can even say this range high to this range low, right? So because even though we wicked above, I wouldn't consider this a swing high, simply because we're still ranging in between, and the swing failure pattern is just a liquidity grab. It's just a failure to break out of the range. So I would still take the volume profile from this to current price action, right? Now, where does that change for me? And you can see how well these levels were respected, especially the value area low, even the value area high. Where does that change for me? When you break out of the range. So you actually broke out of the range, not just a swing failure pattern, right here. So once that occurs, now I take the swing failure pattern high, this high, as our new range high, and this as our new range low. Right, just so there's no confusion about why I'm changing where I take the volume profile from the past few days. Now I take it from the swing high to swing low, and we can see that these levels are actually being respected very well. So we have our value area high right here. You can see rejection once, twice failure to close below, big dump out of that, retest the value area high. Right now we're just at the point of control, holding a support, broke through it, now we're back above it as support. So we are just ranging in this really mini macro range where you could take some shorts at the value area high, assuming it rejects, take some profit at the point of control, things of that nature. Are there any questions on that, why I do that? Or even how to identify it? I know there's been a lot of questions about how I identify swing lows, swing highs, and why and where I take my volume profile from. If not, I'll just wait for the chat to maybe update if anybody has any questions. Well, now let's just take a deeper look into the volume profile, and maybe we can get some more targets based off this, maybe bias where direction might go. Just be wary, we are heading into the weekend, so this could just be like a very choppy weekend, sideways, more or less. So during the weekend, we want to see we want to see the market balance out, especially when there's low liquidity. So we have low volume nodes right here. We have this low volume node. I'll just shorten it a little bit. There you go. You have a low volume node from 22.7 roughly to 22.75. Okay, so we expect this to at some point get filled. We can see that's a support and resistance level as well. So a retest of that as support is nothing to be unexpected. Of course, you just have this value area low. That would be that if we break below this point of control. Once again, 30-minute. I'm on the 30-minute chart, and these closures and retest maybe even 1 hour. A bit better. No, that actually looks somewhat worse. So I would just say a 30-minute closure below the point of control. Retest of the value area low is to be expected. Breaking out of the value area low, then you're going to come and fill this low volume node. I don't expect anything to really happen over the weekend, especially after this extremely boring week. Just fill the gaps, just do the work that the market makers have to do, which is just grab the excess liquidity and balance the market out. If we're going to take a look at our volume profile, so far, of course, this range is so new and still, how many, what is this, like a day or two? Yeah, like 2 days, almost 3. We can see there is a skew. It seems to be a lot more selling at the bottom. So if you were going to have a bias, you're going to have a bias to the upside, of course. Now you can argue that we did reject off the value area twice, so maybe they already grabbed that liquidity, but coming to see a retest of this high wouldn't be anything unexpected. Probably, my guess would be something along the lines of this. And we could look at the trend markets to just see if that would be a confluence, right? Coming down to this low volume node and just pumping back up just to retest this level. Once again, this is the 30-minute chart, so very short-term time frames. Only really looking at 2 days worth of price action. Okay, we can go over the 4-hour chart and see if anything has changed, or maybe, yeah, I just want to take a look at this big macro time frame and just see if anything has changed. So just get rid of our lines. Cool. All right. So we have this right here as our decent range, right? We can see that we set this swing high, set this swing low, ranging in between. We still have stayed above here for a very long time. Obviously, we've been waiting for this low volume node all the way down here to fill, but we're going to ignore that for a while. We're just going to take a look at the volume profile. You can see that we have shown some weakness on the 4-hour chart by breaking below this value area low, but we pumped right back above it now, holding this point of control as support. Of course, a break below this low value area low once again will give targets down to around 21.6, 21.7. So nothing much has honestly changed. Are there any divergences? Uh-oh. Don't have my TDI on. Nah, it's not enough to be called in there. Yeah, no divergences building on the 4-hour. What about on the 1-hour? Yep, you had some slight hidden bear. You made a higher high. I'm sorry, that's not hidden bear. That's just regular bearish divergence. You made a lower low on the RSI and a higher high on the 1-hour. So you could have traded that as well. But really just trading these volume profile levels, especially when you're coming into this weekend, would probably be the best idea. Now, let's just take a look at Ethereum Bitcoin. Has anything changed? So what we've been saying is, is coming back above this 786, and holding in a support, would then give targets back up to this value area high of this big macro range. And we seem to be playing this out. Now let's just look at short-term time frames just to make sure we're not missing anything. Short-term time frames aren't looking particularly great, to be quite honest with you, right? We can take our Fibonacci levels. We see we're back below this 786. What's eye-catching right away? Maybe the 4-hour would be a bit better. Yeah, okay, the 4-hour would be a bit better. Just visually to look at. So let's just go over, we can even use my video that I did yesterday. So let's just go over bearish and bullish order blocks. We can see we were uptrend on the 4-hour time frame, right? Making higher highs and higher lows. And we can see right away that we set this lower high right over here. And this would be our market structure line. And we see we broke market structure recently on the 4-hour chart to the downside, and we're now pumping back up. So where do we expect to pump back into? The last notable upwards move before the market structure break would happen to be right here. Bearish order block. And you see that didn't reject, I think barely closed above. But you see that actually did quite reject this bearish order block. So this isn't looking too great to break out and test that value area high. So I do expect probably a pullback and a retest of the 786, especially over the weekend. And we can take a look at Ethereum if we have extra confluence for that. So let's do that now. Daily chart. Nothing has really changed on the daily. We're going to go over the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame is showing you similar things, right? We can take this as a market structure low. This is a bit, okay, nope. And we did break below it. And where do we look for our retracement into? The last significant push up, and this is a pretty significant push up, and that's exactly where we're rejected into. So continuation to downside, at least a retest of this as support. If we are going to continue higher, is to be expected. This doesn't look too great on the 4-hour time frame, to be quite honest with you. Do we have any divergences forming? We didn't have any divergences forming. What about the 1 hour? 1 hour didn't do anything. 4 hour. No, not really. So testing this 1593 level during the weekend is to be expected, I would say, and then we can start the new week and just see how the week, how Monday reacts, or even when CME opens Sunday. Coming down to this level of retest is what I essentially expect, especially during the weekend. Do we have any notable? We also do have this fair value gap if you want to trade based off of that. Fair value gap between 1617 and 1646 roughly. USDT perp today. Just want a new fresher chart. Alright, and we can just then take our volume profile. Let's go with 30-minute. Nah, I don't even want to take a volume profile of this just because this has been so choppy. We just broke market structure, so I don't really want to. I mean, we could take it and just see if these levels are even being respected. But I doubt it. Yeah, you had your value area high up here, and that was respected fairly well, but the value area low, you've just been closing below it. Just playing around with it. You need to get a good retest right there. Point control just seems to be where price is hanging out, not necessarily a good indication when you close above it of continuation or close below continuation. So yeah, that's kind of what you expect. You just kind of maybe just chop around those levels, and that's why those levels even exist. See how large the value area is compared to just outliers. So just because you've just been ranging in such a tight space for quite some time. Nothing to really trade based off of that, honestly. So now is the time as where I will open it up to you all to make requests for different coins you want me to look at. Any coins at all. I know there's a bit of a delay between the stream and the chat, so I will wait. KDA, yep, you got it. How is this time? Everyone prefer the streams, by the way. This is I do stream every weekday now. I've set the time to be 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm just curious, does that time like work for a lot of you? I figured it'd be a decent time for people who are in close to my time zone, but I know a lot of you might not be. So I'm just curious, is this working for you? Alright, KDA, we're going to look at let's start with the daily range. Let's get the macro picture, and then we can go to shorter time frames, just to see why things are moving on shorter time frames. So right away, you can see we set this swing low, we set this swing high, and we've been ranging in between this going, especially to the downside. There's a lot of traps showing at the downside. Look how skewed this point of control is compared to the value area low. That indicates to us that we're probably going to pump to the upside. That's exactly what we did. We finally got, and once again, with these types of coins, with these low liquidity altcoins, you want to see a follow-through candle or continuation candle, whatever terminology you like to use, especially for volume profile levels. So like coming down to here, this I would consider a correct retest of the point of control. Even though you closed below, you didn't get a continuation candle. We've been going over this with a lot of altcoins. where you know, this is a correct retest of point control because the next candle right away is a continuation candle. You pump back up to point control, and now we came up to the value area high. So it did pump up correctly to the value area high. However, and we did get like a little retest. We have a lot of untested daily levels on this coin, right? You can just maybe take some trades based off those levels. But there's so many, it's so choppy that it just becomes kind of irrelevant for this one. So, where do we expect price to go on this? Given this extreme skew on the volume profile and the screen fluidity up there, like we can take this as like a low volume node. Oh no. Alright. This is like a low volume node up here. Just fairly small, so mine is just up here. This is your low volume node up here. That you're most likely going to break to the upside, right? That's where our bias is on this coin on the daily time frame. Now let's just make sure there's no divergences. Yeah, there's no divergences in the 1 hour. So now let's just go to the shorter time frames. Can we have a look at audio? Yes, we can have a look at audio, and we can have a look at link right after we look at KDA. So let's just now go to shorter time frame, see if there's anything you know, of concern there. Nothing of concern on the 1 hour. All right, we could say that this is our market structure low. Right here, this is, oh, I didn't know that. This is your market structure low. This is the line that will determine your market structure. If you want to like be more risk taking, you can move it to this low, but I would just like this spike low right here. Right, it wasn't validated on this last move up, so this looks to me like a good market structure low. So no, any closures, hourly closures below $1.7204, that would invalidate this uptrend on the 1 hour time frame, and then you'll be looking to be more aggressive on shorts. But until then, everything's looking quite good. Do we have any divergences building? No, not particularly. I mean, you did have a big divergence based off of this, but you already had your move down. So this looks to be chopping around on the 1 hour time frame. We can take our volume profile just to trade the small range. And once again, heavily skewed to the downside, so a lot of selling at the trap, selling at the bottom. We just see a big validation on the value area low. Didn't get quite a perfect retest of the value area high, so 1 hour is actually looking fairly good for continuation of the upside. Coming down to retest this point control isn't of anything concern, especially when we're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum and we're giving targets to the downside. So a pullback to $1.9204 is to be expected. We can also build our fibs and maybe something lines up with that. And 786 is right in that region as well. So we'll pull back down to here, Bitcoin and Ethereum dump. It's completely normal, and then maybe we can even see or just a retest of this range high, and then after this retest of the range high, I just expect it to go and fill that low volume node. So on the 1 hour, it's actually looking really good. If you want even shorter term time frames, we can do that. 15-minute time frame. Yeah, nothing to really speak about. I mean, you can even take like a shorter, like extremely small. Did you ever? Oh yeah, you broke above that. Never mind. That's not even your range, because you broke above. You broke above this, so no, it's not looking pretty good. Not a lot to talk about on small time frames. Just been shopping around, but getting above this value area high, retested this range high. And then that low volume node are essentially what I'm looking for. But when Bitcoin and Ethereum dump, coming down to this point control and holding it is what I would look for. And just remember that you need a follow through candle. If we're looking on the 1 hour time frame, you need a follow through candle. And when you're dealing with something like this, such as this, which is extremely small, like what is this? I mean, maybe not percentage wise actually. 1.6. All right, that's not too small, but you need the follow through candle in order to confirm a breakdown or breakout. And if you have any more questions on KDA, put them in the chat. But for now, let's go over audio. I'm just doing them in order that you will ask me. I appreciate you all for tuning into the stream. Audio. Okay, we've gone over audio in the past, it looks like. Oh my. We've been, I guess, a lot of different time frames. But let's just analyze this. Since we are in the 1 hour, and this seems to be a decent range to be holding. Let's talk about it. So we set the range high, range low. We tested this range low. Once again, you really need a follow through candle. You never really got that, so I would take all this as a retest of this low. So I think this range still holds, to be quite honest with you. Once again, if this was a Bitcoin or Ethereum or a major altcoin, no, but this looks to be good. You can see like this is like a correct retest of this value or higher. Right? You looked above it, but then you just got a quick rejection off. So trading these types of coins are you need that extra level of confidence. So looking at it, we are above the value area high. So just a retest of this 37.55 cents is to be expected. We can look at larger term time frames to see if there are targets above, what the targets above are in case it does break down. That's a 3.6% move from the value high, so not too bad. If we do start to break down, just be aware that there is a fair value gap on the 1 hour chart right here, which is also in confluence with the point of control. So if we do start to break down, if you do break below this value area high, this region right here between 35.15 and 34.80 would be the region I would look for a bounce. Let's just see if there are any Fibonacci levels between this. We could take our range low, not range low, from a swing low, swing high of this move, and you can see the 618 just sits right onto the top of this fair value gap. So maybe a bounce right at 35.15 might come into play there. Now let's just take a look at. Hello, John. Nice to see you. Higher time frames and see. Oh boy, we marked this out a lot. And see what there is for us to look at. I might just be deleting things we're going to look at anyway. Coming down to the daily, right, where you seem to be in this daily range. So how would I interpret this? Would I interpret this as, I would interpret this as your swing low and your swing high, and let's just see if our levels are being currently respected. See if there's enough liquidity in this coin to not really. So let's just maybe move this back. Coins like these are always a bit tricky to identify. Yep, this looks a bit better. You can see correct retests of the value area low, point of control, value area low, things of that nature. So once again, even though we did break out of this range, we never got a follow-through candle. That's why I was kind of hesitant in the beginning, right? We broke out of this range low, but we never got a follow-through candle, which is what I've been saying about these low liquidity coins for quite some time. You need a follow-through candle for extra confluence with these. So these levels are being respected, so we are going to use these levels. So let's just see. We are above the daily point of control, which is a good sign. And if we were to take our Fibonacci levels, bang, you see that the 0.5 has been respected before in the past. So after we break out of this range high, I think you're just going to come and retest the 0.5 Fibonacci level of 38.25. You also have some support and resistance there on the daily term time frame right here. All right, this seems to be an untested support and resistance level, so that would be a good confluence right there for take profit on long, maybe even a head short position. But taking a look at the volume profile, right? Where are their trap traders? There are trap traders to the downside. See how heavily skewed this point of control is to the value area low? So if we want to bias on the daily term time frame, bias for this current range is to break up to the upside, or at the very least as a retest of this value area high. So hopefully that is of help. I mean, I guess I can look at really short-term time frames, like 15 minutes. And then I can just give you some invalidations of like uptrend and stuff. 15 minutes looking good. Just do a quick little, yeah, no divergences building. 1 hour. No clear divergences building. If you want an invalidation point for this uptrend, this slight uptrend, maybe in the 30, let's just go to the 30. Yeah, just use the 30-minute chart, because that seems to just be, this is a little bit of a choppy coin. But if you want an invalidation for this uptrend, any 30-minute closure below 35.35 would just flip market structure, and then you probably get continuation and downside. And if you're trading this time frame, you have this fair value gap to the downside down here. So just be wary of that. Cool. Let's take a look at Link. Have we done Link in the past? Link. Alright. So where is our daily range? Our daily range would be right here. We have this enormous swing high to this enormous swing low. This is a retest of this low. Notable was a swing failure pattern. I would consider Link to be a higher liquidity coin, higher interest coin, so I do consider this like an invalidation of this range. And we can see here that the point of control and the value are lower, are respected fairly well. If we come back to the daily turn time frame, yeah, we did break out of the value area high. Not perfectly, so maybe you would want continuation candles even on Link. But we did get a retest of this value area high. Let's see if this market structure breaks on anything. Yeah. This is your I would consider this to be your market structure low to set this new high. You can even argue like this right here allowed you to set this new high. So where do you expect price to pull back to after this market structure break? Essentially, your last significant high push up, which is right here. And once again, like I stated in the video I made yesterday, you don't really want them to fill completely. They're all on closure basis, so wick above, close into, that's rejection. Just tap into, that's considered like touching the supply and getting rejected off of it, so you barely touched into it. If we do continue up to the upside into that, I would look for any fib levels, that line. Yeah, the 786. Is this a 705? Is that what happened? Yep, you got a direction of the 705. 705 I really like to use in Confluence, only really with bearish and bullish order blocks. I don't really use it anything other than that. I say so you see that I have some confluence there. If we do continue to upside, then I'm looking for the 786 at $7.96, and then or just a rejection based off of that. And you flip market structure, so essentially I'm just looking for this low to break at $7 there. We can look at really small time frames, see if there's anything of interest, or even on the 1 hour. We do have like coming down, even without looking at market structures, not unexpected. We have a lot of fair value gaps. One there, one here. I'm just gonna get rid of them once I mark them out for you, but you get the idea. Like all of these candles are just big pushes up with no retracements back into. So you're gonna have to eventually grab this liquidity into these within these candles. So hopefully that is of some help. Any other coins, guys? Anything else you want me to look at? In the meantime, I'll look into SPX. I do know it's a Friday, so things are a little slow going into the weekend. SPX finally got a bit of a retracement. We've been looking at the bearish divergence for, I think, pretty much all week. We look at this bearish divergence. Just started to play out. Was that at the open? Yeah, you open with a big gap down, so that just started to play out. And you start ranging above this, so I mean, we could build another drive when we retest this range high, but coming down and just really right here. Coming down to 4,012, a retest of this previous small resistance level. Is to be expected. DXY, yeah, you got it. Oh, finally some for DXY. We haven't gone over DXY at all. TVC, alright. I guess with such a oh god. Alright, let's just get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Well, that's what I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna do as much as I can based off this because I want to like go from as macro as I can to micro as I can. So do I have volume data off this? I don't think so, right? Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Oops. If I have volume data off of this, that would be great. No. Okay, cool. Is there any exchange that lets me have volume data off of this? That's not what I want. Index, maybe. No? Oh, okay. That's fine. So, if we were going to take our Fibonacci levels, let's just see where we rejected it off of. See, broke above the 705 fib on this month. What is this? Yeah, August. So rejected off July. Seems to be filling this wick. Coming up to the 786. So probably look for a fairly large rejection there. We can see extremely large fair value gaps above on the monthly term time frame. So we expect to fill those as well. And see there's a slight fair value gap in confluence with the 786. Fair value gap. Cool. And yeah, this is looking pretty good. We can even apply. This didn't really do it here. Put it here. Yeah, nah. Forget what I was just about to say. Alright, so this is your macro time frame. There's nothing really XRM. We'll go over XRM next. I promise. There's nothing too much to talk about. Just expect a quick fill of this fair value gap and rejection off this 110 level. Also, this is of great interest. Without volume data, there's quite difficult to talk about on higher trend time frames. If you are aware of a exchange or somewhere you can get volume data off of the DXY, that'd be great. but I expect the fact that like you're probably not gonna get long term. So let's just take this as a little mini range. Right here, we had a swing failure pattern to the upside. We could go to the 30 minutes just to get extra confirmation. Yep. So we wicked above it, closed below it, then came into this, filled this wick slightly. Where do we expect a retracement to? Our first take profit on the DXY. First take profit is going to be the 618 of this swing low, this swing high. So right here, this is also in confluence with this big macro range. I was macro level. I believe this is the 618 of that macro level. So that's pretty cool. I was not expecting that. No, the 705. Sorry, 705 Fibonacci level of that big macro move. So that is also fairly cool to see. So that's extra confluence right there. So one take profit right there after the short position. And then the next take profit position, of course, will be the range low right there. Obviously, we have a huge fair value gap. I believe this was just based news driven. The large fair value gap they expect to fill. So filling it down to here with such a large candle is completely fine. You don't need to fill completely. Lower time frame to lower targets in case you do actually break down. It's going to be this fair value gap to the downside, right there. And let's just see if anything lines up. Yep, you have your 786 within this fair value gap. So if we do break down after the, this is getting annoying, 105.677, coming down to this fair value gap and trying to find a bounce off of 105.427 is to be expected. Well, let's go over XMR. Monero. Okay, XMR. So XMR. Yeah, let's go to Binance. That has a longer history. Cool. So XMR daily term time frame has been looking quite choppy, to say the least. We can take our big macro Fibonacci levels. See, we broke below our 786. Let's just scroll in a little bit. We rejected off of this, so this is actually a very good level to use. Seems to be holding support and resistance fairly well. We got back above. We're now retesting the 786 Fibonacci level, so a retest of this level and also fair value gap on short-term time frame line up fairly well. Oh, sorry, 705. I keep on 618. 705 Fibonacci level, which also has acted as support and resistance levels before. Obviously, we clustered around the railroad tracks, resistance, support, and also on other terms, we had support, big volume candles, resistance, support. So fair value gap. Filling this fair value gap and retesting the 705 Fibonacci level on the daily time frame is to be expected. You can see how well these fair value gaps, especially in the daily time frame, are being respected by this coin. Even just right here, just as a quick example as I see it. See, we fill this fair value gap with below, close above, and then they continue its trajectory. So let's just go to shorter time frames, see if anything is broken. Yep, you did break market structure on the 1 hour time frame. So you might get a slight pullback before you retest this level, which is quite annoying. But where do we look for things to pull back into? You're asking it to move up, which happens to be right here. Bang. And that's exactly where you got. Right, wick above, close below. No problem with that. Bearish order blocks. So really what you're looking for is a retest of this range low and then eventually to break out to the downside at 152. Where do I look for targets to the downside? Just fill the fair value gaps below And I still want to see that macro 705 fib level to be retested. That does line up with the 618 as well of this move right to the bottom. So that's actually great confluence at a 148.9. So don't move that. So something like this, and Monero actually has been quite good at like moving on its own, being fairly independent from Bitcoin at times. So something like this is what I'm looking for. So coming down, breaking out of this range low, retesting this, filling this fair value gap 618, and continuing up the upside. So hopefully that is of some help. Any other coins? All right. So, if no one else has any requests, I will see you Monday. There is a link in the description below for a Discord server. Join, there's a lot of good traders there. It's completely free. Just come hang out, ask questions. You can always leave if you don't like it. Also, link in the description below for 30% off all your Bybit fees. So Bybit is a leverage trading platform for crypto. I think it's the best. It never goes down. Anytime. It never goes down, they never lock you out, and you want 30% off while you make your and take your fees. Link in the description below, help you save some money on that. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you very much for watching. Bye, guys.